Hey everyone, Alan here. So I've made some comments in the past about different skills or techniques that can allow you to play the violin better or with more ease. Now I recognize that some of these suggestions may be rather difficult to understand or communicate through Facebook. So what I've decided to do is to make some videos of me demonstrating these techniques or skills on YouTube. Hopefully through these videos you can understand what I'm trying to convey and even better apply it to your own playing. So the first skill I'm going to explain is how to rotate your shoulder so that you can change the angle of the violin. So what happens when you change the angle of your shoulder is that if you lift it up a little bit more, you gain better access to the E string, while when you rotate it forward, you have a better access to the G string. So while you're playing on the lower notes, what you want to do is rotate your shoulder forward so you can have better access to the G string so you wouldn't be crossing onto the nearby strings. On the other hand, when you're playing high notes, what you want to do is you want to push your chest forward, rotate your shoulder backwards so you have better access to the E string. So this will most likely solve many of the problems that some of you have as a concern about playing multiple strings at the same time while not intending to. This will most likely reduce the number of noises or odd sounds that you do not make intentionally. Having said all this, it would be rather pointless to learn such a technique about just rotating your shoulder and changing the angle of the violin without actually applying the technique with a bow. So how exactly can we apply this technique using a bow? What I would suggest is something that many teachers probably have suggested to you or have taught you in the past. What we're going to do is simple string crossing from the G string to the D string, to the A string to the E string, and backwards. And it's best if you apply the same technique multiple times, possibly 10 minutes every day. So what I would suggest is to go from the G string and slowly rotate to the E string and back down, like this. So doing this multiple times every day for about 10 minutes would really assist you in string crossing. Now I realize that when you're actually playing a musical piece, it would be rather difficult to concentrate on it. But if you do this multiple times, eventually it will become a second nature, and it would really decrease the number of noises that you do not intend to produce. So if you do end up bored by playing string crossing for 10 minutes every day, there is another way to practice the same skill. The way you can practice the same skill is to play scales. For example, the G major scale. So you may have realized that while I was on the G string, I rotated my shoulder forward, gaining more access to the G string, while when I was on the D string, I would rotate my chest forward and my shoulders a bit backwards, gaining more access to the D string itself. Now, I do realize that you, probably like myself and many other violinists, really dislike playing scales, or arpeggios for that matter. But you do have to admit that playing scales is a step up than playing open strings for 10 minutes. So lastly, I want to point out a few other things you can add into the same practice for this skill that can spice up the practice. For one, you can practice in front of a mirror to make sure that your bow hand is actually controlling the bow correctly and your bow is not going forwards or backwards. So in a sense, while you're practicing this skill, you could also practice your bow hand. You're killing two birds with one stone. There's just one other thing to point out though, however, and that is it is really helpful to use a metronome while you're practicing. It can slow you down while you're doing your string crossing or playing scales and make sure you're not rushing. Because you need to remember that playing the violin is a muscular memory that you do not consciously memorize. So the slower you do it, and the more often you do a certain skill, you eventually allow it to become a second nature, and you will no longer have to think about it while you're playing, and it will all happen naturally. So once again, thanks again for watching the video, and hopefully what I've demonstrated in the video would help you in your playing. Feel free to subscribe to my channel or to my Twitter, and I encourage you to leave any comments that you may have found while trying out the skill, or possibly different problems that you have encountered and would like me to cover in the next video. Thanks again.